First off, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. So we're doing something a little bit different in recognition of moms and the big job that they have. I'm actually here with a mom who I admire very much, who is one of those moms that is fighting for her kids. And that's one of the most important jobs that we have as mothers. I want you guys to watch this video. Please like, share, comment, do whatever you need to do to help us get this. I'm actually here with Wanda Perry, who is the mother of my beautiful Araya, the little girl that you guys have been seeing a lot of videos and pictures of me with her. These guys have kind of become part of my chosen family. I was just with Araya a couple days ago, and she was so super excited about a field trip that her class was getting ready to go on to Wilmington, North Carolina. And one of the things that she was most excited about, well, two things. The first one was being able to visit this battleship that's in Wilmington, and the other one was being able to put her toes in the ocean. She got to put her toes in the ocean, but some of the events that happened at the battleship are not okay, and we need to open up a conversation about it. So the events of yesterday did not happen as was planned, and Araya and her friend, who's also a special needs student, were highly disappointed. So can you kind of start from where you first saw the problems after you guys got to the battleship?
Okay.
What were you told? What were you told to expect? Were you told that it was accessible?
Yes, I was told that it was accessible, that they would be able to access most of the exhibit, and that they weren't going to be able to access all of it, but most, and that they would get the gist of it.
The gist of it. Because that's all she deserves, is to get the gist of it.
Correct.
And so right there is one of the first problems that I want to address. Again, we cannot empower these children if we only give them their limits and we point out the things that they can't do rather than finding other things that they can do. And so I think with better planning, they could have very easily found something else possibly for them to do than rather just saying, oh, they'll get the gist of it. So that's the first problem. Now what happened when the kids went to, so you guys had 7 other children that were able-bodied with you?
We were supposed to have 10.
Oh my goodness.
Along with the 2 in the wheelchair, and I was able to get them to reassign 7 of them, so we were left with 3. And so we were all on the deck, and everybody in their groups have went on inside the ship for their tour and whatnot, and that left Araya, her friend, and the 3 other students, along with the 2 other aides. So we just stayed on the deck. At that time, we
were you able to talk to any of the staff, or maybe even the principal? Was the principal there? Was she aware of what was happening?
She did not see what was going on the deck. She's already went on with her group, but I did try and talk to her beforehand about my concerns about the whole situation, but she brushed it off.
And see, that right there is not okay. And one of the things also that I'd like to address, I heard you say that her one-on-one aid, which is in her IEP, and for those of you that aren't familiar with IEPs, that is a plan that's actually set in place that's just specifically for Araya.
Correct.
So that she gets the care that she needs while she's in custody of the school. And so that one-on-one aid, her job is Araya. And so adding other children to a group, was she still able to be with Araya one-on-one even though you were there? Or was she expected to stay with the other kids? Were you guys?
We kind of juggled it. She was, I believe what they intended on was for me to stay with Araya and her one-on-one aide to take the other children on the tour.
Which is not okay at all. Now, how did Araya and her friend respond to not being able to go in the battleship?
Oh, they were really upset about that. Her friend started crying after all the kids left, and it was just the two girls in the wheelchair left on the deck. And we were asking her what was wrong, and she was saying she wanted to go in. So they both felt really left out, and Araya was really sad about that as well. Yeah. But she's very smart and she's always thinks out the box. So her great idea was for me to go in and take pictures, and so she can see, so that they both could see what was inside.
See what was inside. Now, guys, the one thing that I know with the laws, with the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, is that some historical buildings or historical places, and the battleship would be considered a historical place, they structurally cannot be, or there's like a loophole in the system where they don't have to make them fully accessible. I get that, because it's a historic thing, you know, to be able to make something accessible, you have to knock down walls and do all kinds of stuff, which would, you know, take away the historical part of the battleship. So I get that. Yeah, we both understand that. But one of the things that we really wanted to talk about and concentrate on is the fact that there was a lot of other things in Wilmington, North Carolina, and probably in the vicinity that these girls would have been able to do. So with a little bit of extra planning, they could have came up with something for you and the aides to take these two girls to something else where they were still getting some kind of enrichment while the other kids were on the battleship. That would A, make them not feel left out, and B, they would still be able to be getting some kind of education out of it, which was the whole point of the field trip, right?
Correct.
And so that in itself is not okay. And I heard you say that, you know, Araya was upset too, but more so she saw her friend crying, and so she wanted you. She's always, it's my girl, thinking outside of the box, and she wanted you. She's like, hey mom, go inside and take some pictures so we can see what it looks like. Now I have a problem with that, a huge problem with that this beautiful 10-year-old is even having to think that way to be able to comfort her friend. She shouldn't have to have that responsibility, and that was not her job, nor was it your job to make sure that they were accommodated. And so something really needs to be changed, and by no means are we trying to attack anybody by making this video, but we need to let people know that these things are going on. There have been some other stuff that the Perrys have shared with me that have happened in school, you know, where there wasn't enough staff, or you know, somebody walked into the school and Araya was behind and wasn't able to open the door, and the door shut, and she was left outside and had to run her power wheelchair into the door to get somebody's attention to open it for her. Things like this should not be occurring. And thankfully, Araya has amazing advocates for parents, and you guys are willing to speak up and be her voice. But guys, we all need to come together and make change. I'm hoping that this video gets shared and shared and shared until it gets into the right hands. And if we have to go and send this to these superintendents of the school district, then that's what we're going to do, because we are the voice. We are the people who are going to stand up for these children and for each other. And I know when I first saw your post last night on social media, knowing how excited Araya was, and then seeing what happened and hearing that disappointment, that broke my heart, because just like with my kids, she shouldn't have those kind of disappointments. Everybody's going to have disappointments in life, and we get that. But for a 10-year-old to see all of her peers going and doing these activities, and seeing her other friend who's just like her in a chair, and knowing that they have to sit outside on the deck while everybody else goes inside is not okay. And again, this could have been easily solved just by some planning ahead. And if they knew ahead of time that they were going to have two children in wheelchairs, they should have looked to see, well, are they going to be able to go? Because my concern is what had happened if you wouldn't have been there.
Correct. That's my concern too.
And, you know, this is how these children fall in the cracks. And a lot of children in this situation don't have parents that maybe can find their voice, or maybe they're afraid that their child's going to be treated different if they make waves, or or maybe the kids don't have the voice to be able to voice it to the parents, and the teachers and the staff are not telling the parents that these things are happening. The door incident was one of those incidents where the only way that you found out was because Araya told you. And that's not okay for a child to be locked out of a school at that age, and knowing that she doesn't have the ability to open that door herself and get back in is not okay. So we need, I know that funding is an issue with public schools, and But all of these things don't need funding to be solved. They just need somebody to take that extra step to think about it and think about the bigger picture and have inclusion for all of the children.
I agree.
Thank you for letting me interview you and for allowing me to share this story and for letting me borrow Araya all the time for all these awesome pictures. And thank you mostly for being the amazing mom and advocate that you are, and for stepping outside of your comfort zone and not being afraid to speak out.
Thank you.
You're paving the way for many, many others that are going to come after Araya.
I'm trying.
Thank you guys for watching this video. Please share, share, share. If there's anybody that you know that's higher up, it doesn't necessarily have to be in North Carolina. We can take this to DC. We need this change because this isn't happening just in our community. This is happening all over. And I know that from being a national advocate for 12 years. And we need change, guys. We need to come together and we need to help. This is our future. These children are our future. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this.